When I first saw it, I simply thought, oh my god, this is the dumbest thing I have ever seen. But you know, maybe it'll be interesting. I don't know. It seems like maybe I'll have to get it just to see how dumb it really is. And you know, who knows, it might actually be really good. It might be an amazing game. I don't really know. It looks weird, but interesting. I think I might pick it up. So I've been waiting freaking forever for Octodad to come out on the Wii U eShop, and finally it did. For those who don't know, this game came out way late. It was said it was going to come out in summer 2015, but instead it ended up coming out in November. And that's what the basis was for the Fast Racing Neo joke I made a couple videos ago. But that's not what's important right now. I kinda, sorta, not really made a promise to you guys that I would review this game when I got the chance. And now I'm actually doing it. So, Octodad Dadliest Catch. Is it a good game? Yes, it is. Is it the best game I reviewed this year? No, considering the fact it was up against Splatoon, Undertale, and Saints Row 4, obviously the answer would be no. You know, I just noticed that I'm doing a whole lot of stalling and not a whole lot of reviewing. Maybe it's just because I don't want this review to be pathetically short like my last few, but either way, the review must go on. So what to say about this game? Well, I guess I'll start with the thing you probably noticed first, the gameplay. The thing that's so unique about Octodad is that it's very awkward to control. Normally that would be a bad thing, but the awkwardness of controlling Octodad is done very well here. The game's built around the weirdness of the controls, and they are very responsive, so it's not like some video game back in the 80s made by a company who doesn't know what a video game is. All the tasks you have to do in this game are things that it would be so much easier if you were playing any other video game, or even if you were just doing them in real life. Unless, of course, you're in a wheelchair. I mean, in order to control Octodad's arm, you have to use two control sticks. Both of them move it side to side, one moves it up and down, and the other moves it in and out. You use the individual buttons to control his legs and A to grab onto things. Moving around is just plain funny, seeing Octodad flop around all over the place. Not to mention the animation of doing these tasks is also pretty funny. However, you can't go all Goat Simulator on everything, as there will be a lot of moments where there will be people watching you, and you have to make sure that you don't knock anything over and raise their suspicion. Because if you die or raise too much suspicion, then it's game over. Not to mention, there are certain segments that revolve around stealth. And in general, the levels can actually be pretty varied. Now when you first hear it, the story sounds really stupid. I mean, come on, an octopus masquerading as a human father? And I remember when I first mentioned this game, one of my fans compared the story to Pixar, and I honestly think it kind of is like that on a smaller scale. Yeah, the concept's weird, but it actually is treated with the same heart that you would expect from a Pixar movie. The game's also pretty funny. It's not quite on Undertale levels, but it still is pretty funny. Whether it be just flopping around in funny gestures, to humorous situations, to some actually pretty funny dialogue that you hear throughout the game. At least to me, my favorite parts of the game are actually the 2 bonus episodes that you get. The music in this game's also really good too. It's nothing amazing like Undertale, but most of it's really calming and kind of works with the atmosphere. Not to mention the opening credit theme, No One Suspects a Thing, is just plain awesome. Now, I've been talking up the positives of this game, but in reality there are some negatives to it. For one thing, some of the puzzles you have to do are a bit cryptic. There are some pretty frustrating segments in the game, and I legitimately hate that arcade segment that you have to go through. I swear to God, this is like the only situation where I would ever continuously lose at whack-a-mole. But yes, overall, I did find this to be a good game. Now's about the time in the review where I would tell you whether or not you'd want this game based on what your tastes as a gamer are, but you've seen the gameplay up until this point. I think you've already made up your mind as to whether or not this game would interest you. Now's just the point where I'm going to tell you that I'm Defaultalizer and that I'm going to be doing an Inca Games walkthrough next week. See you guys then.